As parents, our instinct is to feed our children, and that's a good thing. Although feeding someone is an expression of love, it's not synonymous with love. In other words, if you don't buy the ice cream cone each time you go out, you still love your child. Active parents, which most of us are understandably want to satisfy our kids and create as little resistance as possible. But boundaries are necessary for all types of parenting, and food needs to be one of them. I want to tell you a story. A decade ago, I was asked to speak at a university in Dubai, and I had a professor after my lecture share a story with me that opened my eyes to the subject of wealth and nutrition. A sheikh was having a birthday party on a private island. Guests were boated in, and the island had these buffet tables lined up in rows. He told me how it contained every luxurious food imaginable, as money was no object and indulgence was expected. He had never dined so lavishly. And as he was eating, he looked up from his table and noticed the sheik's son on a pier. A single motorboat was approaching him at high speeds, and the boy was clearly waiting for something or someone to be on that boat. The man pulled the boat up, handed the boy a bag that said McDonald's on it. Now I want to tell you another story so you can reach your own conclusion. The same year I traveled to Costa Rica. I saw families living in shacks, growing their own vegetables, picking fruit in the community trees, gathering eggs, their chickens laid, roasting meats long and slow over the day while children played in the streets. The irony of the undoubtable health of the children who were considered poor versus one of the most wealthy children in the world shook me up. However, this is not at all about poverty as being more nutritious, because we know certainly in the United States, especially in the United States, that those living at poverty level are not fed fresh eggs and just picked vegetables. In fact, most don't even have access to fresh vegetables. When you have no expectation that your child could or should eat what everyone else is eating, is it guilt, empathy, or just merely wanting compliance? I think it's all of them. Slightly off subject, let's talk about how we negotiate with people we don't feel guilty with. If your employee said, I don't want to work today because it's beautiful and I want to go to the beach, if you truly valued your employee, you might say, I can understand you wanting that, but we have a job to do, so that's not possible. But maybe during your lunch, you can enjoy this day by going outside to the park. And for the most part, there would be no negotiation or regret. But what if you had been working your employee exceptionally hard, making him come in on Saturdays, staying late, working through lunch? Now there's some empathy. So you say, look, could you just make sure you're covered for any emergencies that kind of come in today, and then you can totally have the day off. For the most part, you're not going to allow them to just take the day off because you want them to like you, or because you feel bad that you just came back from your own vacation, or because you make more money than they do. It's just the rules. And as Tony Soprano would say, it's nothing personal, it's just business. Now I get it, you love your children, and I get that everything shouldn't be black and white, but when everything becomes a negotiation, it's exhausting. In the case of the employee, a good manager would recognize the effort and in turn offer a reward. So now let's bring this scenario to your children. You ran a few errands, the demand to stop for a treat begins. Can you separate yourself from the urge to just give them what they want in order to appease them, knowing that it's completely not serving them? To learn, because what they're learning is to throw a tantrum and constantly complain if they don't get what they want. In contrast with this scenario where your child ate a very nutritious lunch and they make the suggestion to stop for ice cream, and it seems like a joyful activity, then do it. I'm not anti-ice cream. I'm asking you to simply think about why you are going rather than just by appeasing the demand.